What's going on, everybody? It's Tim, and let me get my mic closer. It's Tim, and in this video I wanted to go over VGX, Voyager Digital, and some recent stuff with the auction here. Now we're also going to look at VGX's chart, and we're going to look at Bitcoin, and we do have some recent news that came out for Voyager Digital just the other day, and this could give us a hint into who's going to be the buyer. Now if you appreciate these short videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to check out the links below for some free cryptos and stocks. And let's take a look now. We've got two things to go over. First off, this article regarding Binance, and then an article regarding FTX. And I do think one of these two could very well potentially be the buyer of Voyager Digital. Now I will leave you everything down below that I go over, of course. Now this article here goes over to Binance and their attempt to buy Voyager, and it basically says that it was complicated by national security concerns, and basically the Committee of Foreign Investment of the US, CFIUS, could potentially block this deal if it worries that it poses a national security risk. And one interesting thing here is in the Voyager auction, Binance has been asked to add money on top of its bid as insurance in the event of the CFIUS reviewing them. Now one thing to note is Binance has never been the subject of review by the CFIUS, and watch out because in this article it actually was updated and they added that it's an international company, not a Canadian one, because in this statement it said basically Binance is a Canadian company owned wholly by a Canadian citizen, but then they retracted that statement. So I feel like this article should have just taken that out instead of adding an additional statement to clarify the previous one. They should have just removed that. But very important in this article, CoinDesk reported Thursday that FTX currently is the highest bidder for Voyager. But of course, keep in mind that new offers could always come in. But it's definitely interesting. And one thing that it proves for certain is there's obviously companies interested in buying Voyager Digital. Now, another potential sign here is that FTX has actually been raising money to fund acquisitions. Of course, this could be for a different company than Voyager Digital. This article does say it's evaluating several possible takeover candidates, but it does say some of which are companies operating retail trading platforms, and Voyager is clearly one of them. So I think it's very likely that this is obviously to do with Voyager Digital. Could it be for a different company? Could it be for Celsius or something? Maybe. But we already obviously know that FTX had interest in Voyager Digital and wanted to acquire them. And it does seem like the pieces are fitting into the puzzle here. But how do you feel about FTX or Binance acquiring Voyager Digital? I do think we'll get some answers very soon about who the actual buyer will be. We're getting down to the last innings here, and it's only a matter of time till a buyer is announced. Now, next up, guys, I did want to look over VGX. It constantly keeps showing these patterns. And then we're going to look at Bitcoin as well. And pulling up VGX, you'll see that it constantly is making these little pennants here. And I mean, there's another one that eventually broke there. I mean, it just keeps playing these out. So just watch out for these. It seems like it's just making these setups. I don't know if it's the algorithms, but that's something to consider, that, you know, VGX definitely plays its patterns. You'll see that it played this channel, it played this wedge, it played this ascending channel, it played this pattern as well, and continues to play these pennants. Every time a breakdown happens, it continues farther. But keep an eye on VGX, and like I've said before, this 60-cent area will be important. If we break this support here, very likely we come back in under these peaks, which is right now acting as a support. Clearly, you can see that. This was a previous resistance and flipped as a support bouncing here. A break of this 62-cent area will be bad for Voyager. And looking at Bitcoin, you'll see it's still trading in this sideways pattern. It broke under it, played a perfect cup and handle, break to the upside, just flew right through this channel. And of course, what comes up must come down. Once it broke this ascending trend here, we fell quite hard. Now, one thing to note is this is also a test of this descending resistance. And this is this yellow line here. We did test it and we failed. So it's very likely we come down, retest it coming towards October. As I did say, guys, very likely we get a test by September. We got that test. Now we're going to have another test likely in October. We could potentially break out at that point or fall further, potentially test 17,000. But how are you guys feeling lately, at least on the charts for Voyager and Bitcoin? I personally think it's very likely Bitcoin can test some lower levels. However, saying that, I'm definitely a buyer at its current price, and I will continue to DCA for the foreseeable future. To me, it's quite apparent that we are in a bear market. We are not in a euphoric state. We are not in a high-flying, over-the-top market. But that's basically it for you guys today. Hope you're having a good weekend, and take it easy.